On December 16th, 2004, in a town so small that strangers are noticed instantly, a young woman waited at home for a friendly visitor. Her name was Bobbie Jo Stinnett, 23 years old, newly married, and pregnant with her first baby. She lived with her husband, Zeb, in Skidmore, Missouri, a quiet rural place where people wave at passing trucks because they usually recognize the driver. Bobbie and Zeb ran a small kennel. Dogs were their world: work, routine, joy. And months earlier, Bobbie met another dog lover online in a terrier forum called Ratter Chatter. The woman introduced herself as Darlene Fisher. She said she was pregnant too. She wanted a puppy. And over weeks of messages, the two women talked like friends about dog breeds, morning sickness, baby names. The ordinary intimacy that makes you stop questioning who's on the other side of the screen. Then Bobbie told Darlene good news. A litter had just been born. They agreed to meet midday, December 16th. The night before, Bobbie mentioned a plan to her mother. A woman from Fairfax was coming to see the puppies. No alarm, no fear, just another small-town appointment. At 12:30 p.m., a truck arrived. Bobbie welcomed the visitor inside, introduced the puppies, and let them play, exactly as planned. 2 hours later, Bobbie's mother called again. Could Bobbie pick her up from work around 3:30 p.m.? Bobbie said yes. But at 3:30, she never arrived. She didn't answer her phone, and her mother's worry turned into something colder, an instinct that something had gone wrong. So she walked to Bobbie's house. And a little after 4:30 p.m., she stepped into the room where the puppies were kept and found her daughter. Police and paramedics rushed in, but it was too late for Bobbie. And then investigators discovered the detail that turned a murder scene into a nightmare. Bobbie's baby was gone. This wasn't only homicide, it was a newborn abduction. Sheriff Ben Espy arrived and took in the scene. There were no obvious signs of forced entry, no broken window, no kicked-in door. So whoever did this was likely invited inside. And then came the first witness tip that mattered in a town like Skidmore. Someone had seen an unfamiliar truck that day, driven by a woman with light, yellowish hair. In a place where outsiders stand out, that sighting carried weight. Police looked at Bobbie's emails and her 4 messages. One name kept appearing: Darlene Fisher, the woman coming to buy a puppy. So they searched. They asked around Fairfax. They checked records. And they hit a wall. No one knew a Darlene Fisher. No trace. No real identity. Investigators concluded the obvious. Darlene Fisher wasn't real, but the internet left something behind. From those emails, police traced an IP address, leading them to a specific location, Melbourne, Kansas. And the name attached to that address wasn't Darlene. It was Lisa Montgomery. Now the case had a direction and a ticking clock. A newborn survival depends on hours, not days. Sheriff Espy pushed for an Amber Alert. At first, the request was denied because the baby's identifying details were minimal. But Espy didn't let it go. He fought for it. The alert went out. And the next day, on December 17th, law enforcement headed to the address in Kansas. They approached the house under a pretext: to get inside and look around without triggering panic. Before they even knocked, they saw something outside that made their stomachs tighten. A truck that matched the description. Inside, on a couch, they found Lisa Montgomery holding a quiet newborn girl. The television was on, and the Amber Alert about Bobbie's missing baby was playing in the background. Officers separated Lisa from the baby and began asking the simplest question: where did this child come from? Lisa said she had just given birth at a clinic in another county. Police asked for paperwork. She couldn't produce it. Then her story shifted. She said she gave birth at home, secretly, with help from 2 friends. Police asked for the friends' names. She couldn't give them. Then she changed it again. The friends weren't there. She could have called them if she needed them. Then she added details about delivering in the kitchen and disposing of evidence in a nearby creek. Details that sounded less like truth and more like someone improvising under pressure. Meanwhile, people around her were already uneasy. A cafe owner later described Lisa proudly showing off the baby, Yet Lisa appeared far too composed and physically normal for someone who had just delivered hours earlier. And doctors would later confirm what investigators were already suspecting. Lisa Montgomery had not recently been pregnant. The baby was taken. Lisa was arrested and questioned, and soon she confessed. She admitted she had driven more than 280 kilometers to Bobbie's home on December 16th. She admitted she had come with supplies and a plan. She said she waited for the moment when Bobbie's attention broke, when Bobbie stepped away to take a phone call, then attacked her. And the reason for the attack was not robbery, not rage, not a random break-in. It was a baby. Lisa's plan was to leave that house with a newborn and return home pretending she had just given birth, presenting the child as her own. DNA testing confirmed the newborn's identity. The baby, alive, was returned to Bobbie's husband, Zeb. And then the story widened into something even darker, because investigators had to answer the next question. How does a person reach a point where they believe this is possible? Lisa Montgomery's background was filled with trauma, severe childhood abuse, instability, and years of violence that experts later described as extreme. Her defense would argue she suffered from serious mental health conditions and profound psychological damage. But the prosecution focused on one undeniable fact. Whatever her history, the crime required planning, a false identity online, a shared pregnancy story to gain trust, a long drive across state lines, a cover story prepared for her family. And the lie wasn't new. Lisa had told people she was pregnant before, more than once, despite medical evidence that she could not have been. In 2004, she again claimed she was expecting, even showing what friends suspected were images taken from elsewhere. And as the due date approached, she needed a baby to complete the lie. That's when Bobbie, young, kind, trusting, pregnant, and reachable through a dog forum, became a target. Lisa was charged federally with kidnapping resulting in death and related crimes. In court, the defense raised psychiatric diagnoses and argued diminished responsibility. They also tried to frame her pregnancy claims as something like a psychological condition, an internal reality that overwhelmed reason. But the jury didn't accept that as an explanation for what happened next. In 2007, Lisa Montgomery was convicted and sentenced to death. Years passed in federal custody. Appeals followed. Mental competency was debated. Her case became a national flashpoint about trauma, mental illness, the death penalty, and what the justice system should do with offenders whose lives were shaped by profound abuse. Ultimately, in January 2021, Lisa Montgomery was executed by lethal injection, becoming the first woman executed by the U.S. federal government in decades. And the ending is the part that never feels like an ending. Bobbie Jo Stinnett was gone, killed in her own home while preparing for motherhood. Zeb became a single father overnight, raising their daughter with the weight of the story the child would one day learn. The baby survived. But survival is not the same as healing. And the most chilling lesson of the case remains painfully simple. Sometimes the most dangerous stranger isn't the one who breaks in at night. It's the one who arrives in daylight, smiles at your puppies, calls you friend, and walks through the door because you let her. If you want more true crime cases where the evidence exposes a lie and a friend isn't real, subscribe. Next episode is even stranger.